This e-tutorial is to hopefully assist you with Unit CUARES 202, your research project. So as part of this assessment, you've got to research research two furniture designers. So I've set up a Word document here with Research Designer 1, Alvar Aalto. And that's who I'm going to research first and foremost. So I'm going to set that up and I'm going to go to Firefox, to Google, and I'm going to start off with Alvar Aalto. Here we go, just to get some general information from him or about him first. There we go. Wikipedia, not a bad place to start, but I'm going to go to images first, and I am going to select that image there of the man himself. Shift Command 4, take a screenshot of him, and there we go, that'll appear on my desktop. Then I'm going to visit the website just purely to get that address. Command C, minimize that, minimize my screen. I've Command C'd it, so what I need to do now is actually put up the address that I've had the information from. Pop that there, look. I like to reduce these to about an 8 font. I tend to work in a 10 size font just so that it's not dominating my page. Bring that down, move this to one side on my desktop, which is a bit messy. There's the image. Pop that back there. Make that a bit smaller, maybe postage stamp size. Take that back up to the top of my page. Pop that up there, and there's my first bit of information all about him. So I've got an image that I can use, and it's referenced, that I could use in my presentation. So what I'll do now is scroll back, Alvar Aalto, all Wikipedia. So let's have a look what Wikipedia say. Now, it's no good just using one source of information, one data source, because, you know, even Wikipedia, there's errors on that. People don't always write up the right information. This is a good second point here. Let's just highlight some of this: his name, where he's from. Let's go down as far as occupation. Okay, so Command C, when I've highlighted that, minimize. Let's pop that in there. There's a little bit of generic information about him. Then I better make sure that I take where I've got command, where have we gone here? Let's have a look. Command V, I do beg your pardon, let's go back to that. I went Command C, sorry. Command C to copy, minimize, come down here. Let's get the source of information in. Let's go down a little bit further. Whoops, there we go. Okay, so again, or as I go along, I'm referencing my information. So let's have a little read here. As I go along, I'm going to highlight this information about him. Finnish architect and designer. His work includes architecture, furniture, textiles and glass. Great, that's what we want. Industrialization of Finland, how long his career span, the 1920s to 70s. Nordic classicism, we probably don't really need to know that information. Yep, there's some good reading that, there's some good bits and pieces in there. So I've now selected that. I'm going to copy, Command C it, minimize my work, and I'm going to pop that information in there. Control V. Now I like to justify this slightly different. I make it like that because I just find it that little bit easier to read. While I'm at this, I'm going to bring my address back up so it's always there and I don't forget about it. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look through this information. I'm going to take the highlight texter. So when he's born, that's an interesting piece of information. When he died, when he passed away. Where he was born, Helsinki in Finland. And he was an architect, but not just was he an architect, I'm going to put in and furniture designer. because he was a furniture designer as well. And I'm just putting that in there so that it's always there and I don't miss it. So already we've got 3 or 4 pieces of information that we can use. Back to the highlighting pen. Let's have a look, because we don't need all this information. So let's highlight what we need. Was a Finnish architect and designer. We've got that up there, but there's no harm done in reminding us of that. His work includes, architecture and furniture design, sculptures and paintings, not really of much use for what we're doing. Aalto's early career runs in parallel with the rapid economic growth into the industrialisation of Finland. First half of the 20th century, many of his clients were industrialists. Span of his career, so the span of his career, I'll pop that in again. Let's highlight that, because that's information we can use. Early work, modernism during the 1930s. That's good. Or a more organic modernist style. That's interesting as well. Design as a total work of art. Worked with his wife. Would design not just buildings, but give special treatments to the interior surfaces and design furniture. So he's looking at interior design of a building, not just the externals, and also the design furniture that goes into those buildings as well. His furniture designs are considered Scandinavian modern in the sense of a concern for materials. So he liked using timbers, especially woods, and simplification. So simple but technical experimentation. So he experimented with woods, which led to him receiving patents for various manufacturing processes, such as bent wood, so bending the timber itself. So there we go. We've got quite a lot of information there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to summarize those notes. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to select a 10 size font, bold, and I'm going to go summary notes. And I think I'll come down and I'll start writing a few summary notes. So he was an architect and furniture designer. What else can we pull out from there? 1920s to 1970s, so quite up to his death actually. I've also got in here an organic modernist style. Now, if you don't know what that means, you can look that up if you're not sure. Special treatments to furniture design and interior surfaces. His was considered Scandinavian modern. He was concerned about materials, and that was mainly woods. He experimented with materials and manufacture techniques, and bent wood. So there's some summary notes. Now, your summary notes, you need to highlight those in a different colour. There we go. I'm using that not very nice green. So there we go. We've got some summary notes from that information. And again, it's referenced here. This text is referenced, and that's referenced, and also the image. So what we need to do now is let's have a look at one or two. This, by the way, is Research Source 1. You're going to use different sources because we're not 100% sure about all this information. What we are going to do now is go on and have a look at, there's lots of other bits of information. You can pull parts out of here, look. So architectural career, there's information about experimentation and furniture career. Look, there's some good stuff here. This Mayo chair, I've probably said it incorrectly. Maybe there's information we can take in there. Maybe we can look at these awards as well. if the rewards are to do with the manufacture of his furniture. But I'm not going to copy and paste any more information from there. I'm going to go back, and what I'm going to do now is my research, and I'm going to put in furniture, return, and I'm going to go straight to some images. And that image there, no, this image here interests me. Model number 41 lounge chair, that's what it's called. First things first, let's get Command C, let's get the where I've had the information from. Scroll down my page. Okay, let's get some sort of standardized. There we go, I like that. Let's go back now, have a look. Let's visit the website. This looks interesting now. Look, we've got some great information all about that chair. So I think what I'll do is I'll take that information there. It tells me about the materials, the tactility of the wood, using plywood and birch, which is native to Finland. Fantastic. Command C. So I've got information about construction, information about the materials themselves. That website there is for the image. I'm going to come below that, copy and paste that information in. I think I'll just move this up, keep it nice and clean and tidy, the lines of your research. Okay, yep, I'm into that. That looks good. I'm just going to pop back there, pick up that website, Command C, there's my reference, come back, come underneath, there we go. Yep, I'm happy with that. Move that up. No, that's okay where it is. Yep, don't forget your image. We've already got where we're going to have this image from. There it is there. So Shift Command 4, take a screenshot, hold your box down. There we go. Minimize that. Move this out the road now slightly. There's my screenshot. Minimize that. Remember, this is only research. We're going to use this information later on. So it's just a reference point for me. That's all it is, a reference point. This, of course, is Research Source 2. R-E-S-E-A-R-C-H, Source 2, because this information has come from elsewhere. Okay, I like Arial font, so I'm going to try and keep some sort of standardized font for that. We don't want it bold. There we go. You can do all this afterwards if you wish. So I've got my chair, and I better just put what that chair's called, and that's the P-A-M P-A-I-M Pameo chair. That's what it's called, and that is the product. There we go. So let's have a little look through here. I'm going to put in here my summary notes on that chair. There we go. So let's have a little look and see what we can find out. So it was designed for the sanatorium of those dates there. He wants to use bentwood because it's graceful, scrolling form, divide of right angles and sharp geometry. Some great design words and information there. He sought to create a form that's a shape that would be both mentally and physically soothing to patients. That's why, that's the need, to aid their recuperation. Deeply interested in exploring new manufacturing techniques in his pursuit of modern furniture design. Whereas many of his colleagues coloured the aforementioned tubular warmth, Aalto preferred the warmth and tactivity. That's the smoothness, the feeling of wood. That's what he liked. Experimented with plywood and moulded birch from Finland. The seat and back are fashioned in the same piece of moulded wood, which that's fine. So it's decorative as well. Not is it just structural, it's decorative as well. So what I can do now is summarize that information. So I'm now going to summarize it. It's 1929 to 32. Graceful scrolling form. No sharp geometry, which a lot of furniture was then. Physically soothing. For patients. To aid recuperation. Let's have a look. New manufacture techniques used. He's used plywood. He's used birch from Finland. That's one of the Scandinavian countries. It's molded wood also. That's the frames, and it's decorative also. So there's some summary notes. Again, I'm just going to highlight those. I'm going to put them into a 10 font like my previous ones, into Arial. So I've got quite a bit of information now about this this Finnish designer. Yeah. Now, what I now need to do, I do need to look at other information also, and not just decide that, you know, there's my Wikipedia information. There's more information from this website here, this metmuseum.org, but that's a really good start. Now, my suggestion to you is an image of the designer. That's the first thing. General information: birth date, death date if he's dead, where they're from or she, what their main occupations were or was. General information about them. Some summary notes, and then go on to another website to confirm or to find out additional information. And then you're going to need 4 or 5 pieces of furniture example. And in this case, I've been lucky because for this piece of this Paimio chair or Paimio chair, there is plenty of additional information about that as well, which I've then summarized as well. And just remember, you will need to produce your references at the end of bibliography. We've got a reference there for that image, there for that information there, for that image there, and for that information there. You've got to keep collecting those. So the next point would be, quite simply, go to Research Source 3. Do that on the next page. Don't forget, please, to insert page numbers, because that's very, very important to I centerize mine. Very important to actually reference those later on, and I go to research source number 3 next. Just get that, but keep the format the same in everything you do. Quite a long tutorial. I hope that manages to get you started. The designer and designers that you've selected, you need to have a go at that. So good luck with that, and thank you very much.